Welcome back to the IC Box channel. Today we are reviewing the Fantastic Four First Steps. Okay, so Fantastic Four First Steps, directed by Matt Shackman, written by quite the committee of people. We can talk about all that later. What I want to get into is how awesome Matt Shackman is committing to a vision, right? What did he do with WandaVision? He committed to a vision. He stuck to it, and it paid off, in my opinion, at the end of the show. And then in Multiverse of Madness, there's kind of some messiness there. But for the most part, we know Wanda way more, and we have such a connection with her. Can he do the same thing? He does. He's a visionary. He knows the vibe he wants to set, and he goes and attacks it. It's in the 60s. It's this techie, almost utopia type 60s world where the Fantastic Four have had a huge influence on tech, on the world. They are the Earth's protectors. And give me a show in this universe. Like, that is kind of the promise of the multiverse saga when it first started is, hey, we're going to take you to all these different universes. We're going to show them all off. We're going to have really cool stories. We're going to compel you to a universe. And then, the big thing's going to happen. Doomsday, Secret Wars lead into that. And we've really not gotten that a lot. We've got a lot of Earth Prime stuff and some post-credit scenes, via the Marvels, where we're in a different universe, but it's for 2 seconds, right? Multiverse of Madness, we're bouncing around. Really, it's about our prime Earth. Here we have an Earth that we really, truly, I truly care about. And there are some key moments that I'll get into that really kind of sell me on this Earth 828 and how the ending actually is not what I thought at all. So this is a full spoiler. Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. He works for me. Why does he work? Because Pedro's such an unbelievable actor. But beyond that, the best Reed Richards, right? Reed Richards is always supposed to be the smartest in the universe, right? One of the smartest in the universe. He can solve any problem. He's obviously the main leader in the Fantastic Four, especially in this group, right? Because he can just solve any problem, work through any equation on the run, and do all that. And I think he shows that here. Pedro shows that every moment he can. You can literally see through his acting and his subtext that his mind is working so aggressively and thinking through all these different scenarios and has the weight of the world on his shoulders that it's really a good interpretation of Reed Richards. I love that this Reed Richards is kind of a subtle, kind of a torn down guy. Not torn down because of life, just torn down everything going on inside of his head. And I think that is really interesting. And shout out Pedro Pascal for, other than Pedro's fantastic acting, it's the other characters too and the family members that really elevate and continue to elevate Pedro throughout this entire movie as Mr. Fantastic, right? And Ben is a key player in that. And it's not because they have a ton of scenes together. They really only have a couple scenes one-on-one together. But in those couple of scenes, Ben is like that nonstop loving uncle that just knows you have he knows Mr. Fantastic has the weight of the world on his shoulders, and it really in his head, not even on his shoulders, but more in his head. And he's just there for him. And those moments are so compelling when those two are just talking. In one scene, they're talking outside of the tower, and Ben is just there for telling him, everything's going to be okay. You know what you need to do, so do it. And as your family, we're going to be right behind you. And that's just so powerful. And you need that in the Fantastic Four, right? They're the first family. They need to feel like a family. And so to get it into Johnny Storm, I think Johnny is an interesting one because he started out slow for me. I was like, okay, what do you want me to read from this character, right? The last one we knew was, and I'm not thinking of that Miles Teller one, Chris Evans as Johnny Storm. And, he's this douchey, eccentric guy, gets all the women, outwardly gets all the women, and, wants all this, he wants a lot of sponsorships for money and everything. And this Johnny, while he could be that, I think this Johnny is in a completely different place, right? For one, he's about to be an uncle, so he's going to have a nephew. So that comes with a little bit more responsibility, right? Kind of plot through the movie. He uses his head. He's actually a really smart guy and really takes his time. And maybe the family isn't exactly seeing that because they only know this party Johnny. But where we pick it up, it's a very interesting way Joseph Quinn played that. And I think it only gets better throughout the movie. I think it takes a minute in the first half, because you're like, what is he doing? He seems kind of sad, but then he's also doing this happy scene when he knows he's going to be an uncle. The big thing is he becomes the little brother. And once he becomes the little brother to everybody, then I'm like, okay, this is Johnny Storm. We know who Joseph Quinn is now playing. So shout out to Joseph Quinn as well. I do think the whole cast gets a shout out for this one. There are two people in particular. It's the women in the movie I need to give a round of applause to. Vanessa Kirby and Jennifer Gardner. Let's start with Vanessa Kirby, the heart of the movie. I said earlier there's a scene that really connected me to Earth 828, to this family. It's her scene. It has a speech in the middle of, well, really down the tower in the middle of this courtyard. It's a lot like the Superman speech of human and what that means to be human. Vanessa Kirby's talking about, Sue Storm is talking about love and family, and she's doing this as Earth 828 is turning on them and doesn't wants them to give up their child to Galactus, because that's the whole thing, is that Galactus is going to take Franklin, their child, and will take over Galactus' spot. And for one, that little plot twist was, I don't know Franklin's storyline, so that was very interesting to me. This speech, and it's, we will be stronger if we come together in this moment, and that'll be the bond of this Earth and this universe. It's really important for this movie. You have to show how strong the Fantastic Four are. They showed it through and through. Vanessa Kirby, that speech delivery, it was absolutely everything. And the second woman of note who just is the MVP, second MVP of this movie, Jennifer Gardner as Silver Surfer. Shout out to cinematographer Jez Hall. Single time Silver Surfer is on screen, it is a noteworthy, I want to see the 4K screenshot on Twitter, and I want to save that and make it my wallpaper. Like, just the way she used the board, her mystery of the character is so fascinating. I think we don't usually get that enough in today's world, is the mystery of who a character is. I think that always strengthens the character, right? I grew up loving Star Wars, right? And what does A New Hope start out with? Who is Darth Vader? Who is this Leia? Like, who are these people? We need mystery in our movies, and I think her character has such mystery as a Silver Surfer. Where does she come from and all that? And it dives into it, but you're interested throughout the whole way. For 10 out of 10. Thank you, ladies, for carrying this film. Small note, superhero films that we got to work on, because I rewatched Batman v Superman. I saw Superman again. I've now this new Fantastic Four. Can we portray the world like reacting to something big happening any other way than newscasts? I mean, I'm asking writers, is there just any other way? That's my one little PSA. I just need to, we need to figure out a way to convey that more. I don't know if it's just through characters reacting in their voiceover and me not seeing the TV screen. We got to come up with a new system, because it's getting tiresome for me. A big shock for me is definitely the ending of this movie too. I was fully expecting Galactus to win this, destroy Earth 828, and then that forces the Fantastic Four into where we saw them at the end of the Thunderbolts end credit scene. Not at all what happens, and of course, Marvel never works so one-to-one. I should have known that as a veteran. Alas, we're here. So, the Fantastic Four, they defeat Galactus enough to, put him on the back burner for a little bit, if you will. They put him on the back burner, and then, everything's fine. There's a 4-year time jump, and then it's Vanessa Kirby with Franklin, the child, and, she walks away, she hears something, it's like a flash, and then boom, Doctor Doom, you see his hood, and then you see the mask, and then you see him talking to Franklin, and then boom, that's it. And then the second end credit scene sucks, really. It was so very unfortunate. That is what it is. So I was fully expecting that not to be the case. So it makes me think that now, starting in Doomsday, is that the reason that the Fantastic Four go to Earth Prime, is because Franklin's been taken? Maybe Doctor Doom destroys Earth 828 and is destroying the multiverse. I don't really know. I don't have a lot of knowledge in the Doctor Doom storyline, so I'm very intrigued to kind of see that. And it was a surprise for me. I was expecting to have a negative ending, but no, I think they're saving that for something bigger. And the Russos directed that end credit scene. So I trust them having a plan going forward. I'm really excited to see what that is and how this plays out. This is it until Doomsday. Next is Doomsday, and whew, I have to score this movie. I don't like scoring superhero movies. I'd give them all a 5, honestly. I like being there a lot of the time. I have to give this movie a 3.5 out of 5. With a heart. With a heart. You have to understand, I loved this movie. This movie is, I will go back to it. I will revisit it over and over again. I still have to see where I'm going to rank it in my MCU ranking. So follow me on Letterboxd to see my list and see where I put it in the final ranking spot. But it is so good. I do think that there are some weird edits and cuts that are like, whoa, why are we doing that? Or, are we really focused right now? Right? There are some scenes where, like, Ben goes off to meet Natasha Lyonne's character, and I'm like, okay, this is great, but why are we trying to do that early on? Ben's trying to connect with humanity kind of thing. I know the past Fantastic Fours have done that, but that's because it was more of an origin story. This is not an origin story. That's one moment. There's just some other weirdly cut scenes, and I'm like, this is all chopped together well, and it's a good vibe, and it has a good pace, and superhero-wise, you have a lot of fun, but there's just some weird moments where something like Superman was a bit tighter for me this year, and even though the jokes sometimes messed up a moment, I think the movie as a whole was just a bit tighter. I did see it in RPX, so I need to go back and see it in the true IMAX form, because I need to see those interstellar galactic kind of moments. Like, that's why it kills me that I want to say a 3.5, because I want to say a 4, but there's just something compelling me to not push it to that 4 yet. So what did you think of Fantastic Four? Let me know in the comments. What would you rate it on Letterboxd? Follow me on Letterboxd, and I'll give you a follow back. Love chatting with other Marvel fans. I hope you enjoyed my movie review today of the Fantastic Four First Steps. All right, so subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you again real soon.